Referee Mr. Howard Foster will now give his final instructions to both boxers.
Spoke to you both in the dressing rooms, you both know what I expect. Keep it clean, break straight away when told. Both of you watch your heads. Good luck to you both, touch gloves. Good luck, lads.
12 3-minute rounds for the Super Featherweight Championship of Great Britain.
Second defence of the Lonsdale belt that Carl Johanneson won down in London when he ripped through Billy Corcoran. He defended it in Barnsley by dispatching Femi Fayantola, but tonight is his mandatory defence, and on paper a difficult assignment. The tall, strong Scotsman Ricky Burns, who's whipped himself into shape for this challenge. And once again, as we've said in recent times, Jim, the domestic stage is set here.
Yeah, but I mean, two totally different styles here tonight, and I think they'll mix well. I think this really could be a classic. Already Burns looking to grab hold up close. Johaneson knows he must impose himself, make an early impressions, take some of the natural confidence of the youth out of Burns, and that's what he's trying to do.
He'll be buoyed by the crowd, the following here, Carl Johanneson. A slight worry by some critics is that he'll start too fast. Stamina, still a question mark in the Johaneson makeup, because he's never been beyond 8 rounds.
But he's not a fighter that wastes punches, Johaneson. He's usually fairly controlled. I mean, he started fired up here. He's boxing at home in front of his own crowd, and he also realises he can't allow Burns to find confidence. It'll be a tougher job, but he doesn't waste too much, so you would think the 12-round distance shouldn't be a great problem to him.
Certainly the much, much bigger puncher, Johaneson. I think Femi Fayantola had a big shock in their last meeting. He'd sparred with Johaneson, but with the smaller gloves on, he really felt that power.
Well, Burns is not finding the room to move himself out of there. Johaneson is making him stand and trade. It's early days, I know, but that must be Johanesson's early plan. Make him engage.
Yeah, the Ingle team was saying they're just going to chase Burns down, trap him on the ropes, in the corners, not give him room to move, and pot shot Johaneson with his counters.
Well, Burns would want to be on the move, keep things at long range, use the jab, use the reach advantage, but Johaneson not allowing that, so he's making Burns stand his ground. Although Burns is not a big puncher, he is gritty, he is strong, he is big for the weight, so he may well be able to do that.
Getting in close already, Johaneson, and letting his arms flow. Inside work could be crucial, and to the Burns body, Alex Arthur certainly troubled the Scotsman in that department. Good uppercut from Johaneson, and a positive start from the champion.
It's been an excellent opening round, and I think Johaneson will be the happier of the two when he goes back to the corner, because I'm sure this is not the kind of fight that Burns had in mind coming in here.
A frenetic pace has been set.
After jab, everything get up the jab and take
Welcome
inside,
back.
but then uppercuts and hooks back over again. Bang him to the body, up to the chin, don't leave him alone.
Brendan Ingle, son Dominic running the corner, and they want pressure.
Yeah, well, one of my questions was how soon could Johaneson impose himself on Burns? Well, the answer is straight away. He's drawn him into his kind of fight.
Round 2.
Second round, the all-black of Carl Johanneson with the Leeds United emblem on the shorts. He's the nephew of the great winger Albert from the 60s, and he is really going into overdrive early on Ricky Burns, who doesn't know quite what's hit him.
I think this is far hotter than Burns expected already. He's glancing over to his corner, which is never a good sign. This is not what he had planned. He's going to have to tough this out. He's going to have to stand his ground. Johanesson's not giving him the room. to circle, so he's going to have to stand there and trade.
Johansson has the added experience of being hardened in the New Jersey gyms, where he sparred with the former world champions Acelino Freitas and Levander Johnson. Doesn't believe Burns can bring anything to the table. Thinks he'll walk through him.
Well, I thought his first problem would have been getting close to Ricky Burns in the early stages, but not the case, not a problem for him.
Not allowing Burns to settle and get his jab going. I mean, he's a different fighter to Alex Arthur, Carl Johanneson, isn't he? Because he's so small and crowded.
Yeah, well, Alex Arthur knows he is the class. He is a world-class fighter, so he could take his time, give Ricky Burns a little bit of room, but Johansson knows he has to be firing on all cylinders, has to impose himself straight away, use everything he's got, and that's the way he's set up here. That's what he's been doing for the opening 2 rounds. If he can keep this going, Ricky Burns has massive problems.
Arthur, who's been sparring with Ricky Burns, said he's so determined to win this, but he's got to get through the 6 rounds. That's the danger, Arthur believed.
See, I think the problem for Johansson, this is not his normal style of fighting, and you always think the fighter who has changed his style in an important fight is the one who could be struggling as the fight gets underway, and this is not the way he normally fights. He's winning rounds, he's pressurising, throwing a lot of punches, but not really inflicting any damage on Burns, and that might be crucial, I don't know.
Whips in a couple of body shots there, Ricky Burns. Yeah, there is the worry that Johansson could punch himself out. Can he keep this red-hot tempo? The burning intensity he's got in there.
Yep, the big question is, how long can he do this? We don't expect him to do it for 12 rounds, but can he do it long enough to sap the energy out of Ricky Burns? But an excellent start from the champion.
You've got to get into the fight, okay?
Long-time trainer Rab Bannon and Dean Powell in there. It's a bit frustrated, Ricky Burns, after the first couple of rounds, which have definitely swung Johansson's way.
Well, what I'd be thinking, Burns is not going to win these rounds whatever he does, because Johansson's too hot and too strong. It'd be better covering up in the early stages here, but keep Johansson working his hard, and hopefully the storm will subside. Pointless fighting against this.
Flies out of his corner again, Carl Johansson. 28th outing for the 28-year-old from Leeds.
See, a more experienced fighter, Adam, would probably let Johansson have the initiative here, keep him working, but block shots, make him miss, just draw some of the steam. But I don't know if Burns has that experience, or is he going to become a little bit worried about this? Is it going to have his confidence dented? No signs yet, thankfully.
Well, certainly his confidence grew round after round as he stuck in there with Alex Arthur. It's a different style in front of him tonight as Johansson continues to target the body with those hooks. Back comes Burns. Uppercut could be an interesting shot from Burns tonight.
Well, when a fighter is wading straight in with his head down, that is the punch. I mean, you can't miss. There's nothing clever about what Johansson's doing. He's getting a result. This is obviously his plan. But my mind's casting back to Matthew Macklin's plan against Jamie Moore. Similar things, and we know what happened there.
Yeah, Macklin charged out, didn't he? At the end of the day, Jamie Moore just too crafty and clever, and eventually retained his British light middleweight title in the 10th round. That was probably the fight of last year. This already could be one of the fights of this one.
I think lack of experience could be a problem for Burns. I mean, when the other guy is fighting at this pace and he's stronger than you are, you just got to let him do it. You've got to box behind him a little bit. You've got to conserve energy, knowing you're going to have plenty in the tank in the second half of the fight when you can do your damage. Pointless fighting against this for Burns. Johansson's too strong for him.
Johansson may be able to keep this up in sparring in the gym, but he has never done 12 rounds when it matters in a professional ring. If he can do it, he'll answer a lot of questions. Back comes Burns in this third round.
But what Burns also should be doing is working on accuracy. Those punches they're coming back with, they're wide and they're catching arms and shoulders. The punches he does throw, he's going to have to make them count. This is shaping up as a real struggle for young Ricky Burns.
Not much clean getting through from Burns. Still got that worried expression on his face. Johaneson charging at him. Doesn't look like he wants to be denied at all, especially in front of his home crowd. The good times for the fighters north of the border. Can Ricky Burns become a British champion like Kevin Anderson has, and Barry Morrison recently in that upset win over Lenny Dawes? Morrison so fired up that night. Tonight it looks like Carl Johanneson is just working in that corner, and there's slight swelling of the right eye of Johaneson. But out he comes again.
Well, listening to the interview before the fight, Ricky Burns' plan was built around Johaneson not being able to catch him with punches, so I wonder what plan B was, because that one certainly isn't working. He's not elusive, he's not been given any space to move around. I just repeat, if I was him, I would just be saving energy for when this fight reaches the stage when I can compete on even footing. At the moment, Johaneson is too strong for him. So don't waste useless energy in rounds that you're going to lose anyway.
His hair bleached blonde like it was on the night against Alex Arthur. The man heavily tattooed, Ricky Burns, who's been avoided by a few, he feels, after that victory over Graham Earl. Upset the Earl apple cart.
Still nothing smart, nothing cultured from Johaneson, but using his advantages in strength and maturity.
Jim, Burns only has 3 knockouts on his record. Do you think Johaneson just feels he can drive through him all night?
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. He's proved that already. And I think it's down to tactics as far as Burns is concerned. He's got to have enough steam left in the tank when his turn comes. So there's pointless trading off with Johaneson. For the first time, he's found a little bit of space there to back off. This pace has got to slow sooner or later, and I would think pretty soon. So Burns has to have something there to get himself back into this, because he's really been outworked in the first third of the fight.
Ricky Hatton has so often fought like this with velocity and work rate. So too Paul Ingle in the past. Just so many punches. Is Johaneson fit enough to carry this out for 36 minutes boxing?
See, the problem, the two guys you've just mentioned, that was their style, that's the way they learned the business, that's the way they did business all through their career. This is not the way Carl Johanneson does. He's changed his style, he's coming up with something else. So does he have the confidence that he can do this? Never done it before.
He is winning the rounds though, Johaneson. It is a fast start from the British Super Featherweight champion.
Relax, deep breathe, deep breathe, deep breathe. Get in,
There is
come
the
on, fill up
record,
into your mouth.
only
Fill
2
your lungs up.
defeats.
Come on.
One shock, one in the first round to Lever Kirakosian, one in America. The last 13 fights have all finished early. That's what we're saying, that we don't know beyond 8 rounds.
You're the challenger now, come on.
In contrast to Ricky Burns, 1 defeat to Alex Arthur, only the 3 knockouts.
Right punches. Solid jab, solid
Look at
jab.
that, 10 of his last 11 have gone the distance. Is it all about
surviving the first 6 and taking him into the trenches.
Yep, of course it is. I think the plan must have been for Burns to be ahead in points at the halfway stage with his slick boxing, his movement. He's not been allowed to do that. Full credit to Carl Johanneson. His tactics have been perfect. So plan B must be have some strength for the second half of this, when maybe I can get myself into it.
Well, first third gone, and surely everything to Carl Johanneson. Second defence of his British title, the one he won in that 4-round tear-up with Billy Corcoran down at the York Hall Bethnal Green. Needed 6 to get rid of Femi Fayentola, previously unbeaten Bradford Hope, floored him 4 times. No knockdowns yet here, but plenty of fire and pressure from Johanneson.
When you get up to title level, you always have big problems if you don't have power to discourage the other fellow. You don't need knockout power, but you got to have power to stop him on his tracks and give him something to worry about. Burns hasn't found that power yet. Johanneson still coming through everything.
And Levar Kirakosin, the very heavy-handed Russian who shot Johanneson in a round, really could bang. Maybe that's what you need to beat Johanneson, a punch as well as skills.
Well, Johansson still keeping the pace going, but becoming just a little bit ragged now. Not the same control in his boxing, not the same snap in the punches. These are arm punches for the first time. Is this the first time? Good uppercut from Burns, but Burns badly needs to make an impression on this guy.
Just a breath from Burns. How much has he sucked up?
Well, Burns is now finding the target. He was catching arms in the past, just throwing kind of wild punches, a bit more control here. And the first signs that Johanneson may be a little bit uncomfortable.
Working the body, trying to get the uppercut through. Johanneson still on the front foot, the aggressor.
I mean, who knows? Maybe Johansson's thinking with the amount of punches he's throwing, he should have had Burns out of there by now. So he's going to have second thoughts too. Maybe he was looking for a stoppage. First time, Burns has outstrengthened him in an exchange. Haven't seen that before.
Good right hand from Ricky Burns. Physical strength could be important if this goes the full distance. Naturally, the bigger man, Ricky Burns, has to grind himself down to 9 stone 4.
Is that a nosebleed from Burns? The last thing he needs interfered with his breathing. That just pushed down there.
Yeah, slumps down, but the nose is bleeding, and quite profusely for Ricky Burns. And Johanneson gives him a left hook for good measure at the end of the 5th. Is he 5 rounds down, and is that just too much as well, Jim?
Yeah, well, a massive. He's 5 down on my card simply because he's been outworked. But the one bit of encouragement is he stopped Johanneson in his tracks a couple of times. For the first time, he had the last word in an exchange of punches. Couple of encouraging signs, if you like. And we have to remember too, Carl Johanneson can be hurt himself. He doesn't have a chin of iron. He's strong, he's powerful, but he can't be hurt, so maybe a little bit of success just at the right time for Burns.
Come on, but
he never looks all that happy at any time, Carl Johanneson, so you can't read anything into that face in the corner, that kind of hangdog look.
There's a man of few words outside the ring, but he's got a good boxing brain in there. Might need to adapt his tactics as well tonight, box a little bit, as well as maraud in.
See, Burns now needs to get the jab off a little bit quicker, catch Johanneson as he comes forward to try to stop him from getting close. It's no good trying to counter. He's going to have to lead off and try to stop this fella in his tracks. Don't know if he's the power. A good uppercut from Johanneson. That was a beauty, that was a sickener.
Yeah, he loves that shot. Carl Johanneson. Burns has to fire back with a couple of left hooks, not getting through though. Does not want to let this title go, Carl Johanneson, not one little bit.
Well, you can't fault Ricky Burns' contribution, can you? Things haven't been going all that well for him. But he's right in there. He is right in there, yeah.
Gritting his way through. Remember what Alex Arthur said, if he can survive 6 rounds, he wins the fight. Good right hand from Johanneson, who's just put his foot down again and increased the tempo.
Yeah, you have to admire the commitment that Carl Johanneson has brought to this performance tonight. Just won't be denied. Just forcing the punches out.
Foster has to break them, probably the first time. It's been great clean action here.
That was a strong warning from the referee, Foster, too. You know, Burns doesn't need to be losing any points. Enough trouble at the moment.
Blood continues to drip from the nose of Ricky Burns. Just can't seem to get himself set and find a cluster of punches to back Johanneson up. That's what he needs about now.
Yeah, but he needs some success, but that was a nice little feint too from Johanneson, drawing the lead in, coming in with the punches. So, not all crude stuff, he's thinking what he's doing too.
Could just be very tough to beat, this Carl Johanneson, certainly at domestic level. Can Ricky Burns come up with something? He needs to, and pretty fast.
Another good round for the champion.
Look at him.
And then lift him up.
Another good clash for a British title. So many in the last year or two. Look at that. Look how many punches both men have thrown in 6 rounds. But the quality, well, almost double there for Carl Johanneson, the champion, who must, Jim, be a mile ahead on the 3 judges' cards.
Well, I certainly have him a mile ahead, but then you can see everything to Johanneson simply because the volume of punches that he's thrown hasn't stopped.
Phil Edwards, Mickey Vann, and in front of us, Victor Loughlin. Another 3 at ringside tonight. Well, they have given everything to Carl Johanneson. And if he can keep this up, Jim, we've learned something.
Yeah, well, as I was saying earlier, he's a young man who's grown into being a champion. I mean, you can see the confidence in his work, and they've certainly, the whole camp have done their homework here. They've known exactly what's required, and they've come up with that. They haven't given Ricky Burns an inch of space to get himself out, and they've just glued himself to him right from the opening bell.
A quality boxer, good amateur. Ricky Burns claims about 100 of 106 wins. Left hook for Carl Johanneson in the 7th round. And finally, Burns has to go down. The count's at 7, he looks in his corner. He's hurt, and there's so much time left in the round. Is Carl Johanneson on the verge of another stoppage win? Very impressive this from the British champion.
I don't think it was a heavy knockdown, Adam. He was kind of leaning back when the punch caught him, but the time he took to get his legs back in order again, I think his strength has been sapped as well as been hurt by that punch, and I tell you, that is just the last thing he needed as far as confidence is concerned.
Alex Arthur might be the more skillful technician. Carl Johanneson does seem to have this power, but back comes Ricky Burns. Look at him dig in. Really good round here in Leeds. Johanneson again on the prowl. Too much. Just won't be denied tonight.
sinking a couple of body shots in too. At this stage of a fight, these really are painful. Sucking oxygen in there, Ricky Burns.
It is a fired-up display from Carl Johanneson. And at British title level, he looks really, really hot. Gain a body shot, right hand, gloves drop of Ricky Burns. It's been a torrid session for the Scotsman.
Well, everything he expected to happen hasn't happened. He's not getting himself into this, so you wonder just how long he can keep coming up, showing the spirit he's showing right now.
The guts from Ricky Burns. Terrific 3 minutes of boxing.
Burns was leaning away from the punch. You can see him leaning away as the punch landed. It wasn't a heavy knockdown, but you see the time he took now to get his legs back in order to get himself back up off the floor. He is feeling the pace of this one, as you can imagine. He is tiring now. He sagged to the floor there. Yep, as much confused there as hurt, if you like. It took a long time to get himself back in order. Really sagged there, and Johansson pounced on him.
Jim, Carl Johansson's won his last 7 fights inside the distance, but have you seen such an aggressive display all the way through from him yet?
As I said earlier, I'm amazed at the commitment we've seen from Carl Johansson in every round of this fight. It's as though he doesn't want to stop in case he can't get started again. I mean, this is an unbelievable pace he's set.
Still, Ricky Burns hangs in there. His white and blue shorts stained with blood from that nose. His ribs must be hurting, but his spirit is not wilting.
So the problem too, these were arm punches coming back from Burns. You always have a problem when you can't hurt the other fellow, when you can't stop him in his tracks, and that's been his problem all the way through. Johansson hasn't given him room to move away, and Burns doesn't have the power to hurt him.
16 fights in the States Carl Johansson had at the beginning of his career. Walks into a left hook there, shakes his head. He's had so many tough nights on the other side of the pond.
Yeah, and you can imagine some tough nights in the gymnasiums over there as well. I mean, he's learned his trade the hard way, and that's one of the big differences between them. He just looks that little bit harder than Burns, more mature.
Aren't these good though, these Lonsdale belt fights of late that we've had? So many.
I mean, it's amazing. We've had some cracking battles for the British title, unbelievable, and this is another one.
Can't take your eyes off it, can you?
Yeah, but even fighters like Jamie Moore, who have won the Lonsdale belt but still have pride in the fight we had with Matthew Macklin. Amazing. Amazing some of the action.
He's here tonight, Jamie Moore. So too Michael Gomez, Robin Reed. Plenty wanted to see this clash. Ricky Burns digging in body shots. Is there a slight shift here in the 8th round? If he can pull this one out, Jim, my word.
This would be an amazing turnaround. But still, Johansson straight back onto him again. Little bit of success. Doesn't let him enjoy it for long. Back down to business.
Just fell back on the ropes there, Ricky Burns. Determination and desire aplenty. But this pace has been quite emphatic from Carl Johansson.
Now that was the jab that Ricky Burns had to find earlier. Maybe just a little bit too late now.
He's got through a bit more though in this round, Burns.
Yep, he has. This is a lot more success in this round. Probably outworked again, but probably his best round.
Just got the
Well,
Hold it. Slow your breathing.
Slow.
could this be a significant stage in the
Yeah,
path
Come on. Open your mouth.
of this
Open
plot?
your mouth,
8
get it in.
rounds.
Gasp it in a
He's
few
completed
breaths,
before.
that's it.
He has
Listen,
never been
You're breaking
passed.
them up.
What
You're
happens
off the
now
job, the short
for
uppercut
Carl
to Luke's
Johanneson?
inside.
Any
And
demons in the
torn him, don't
mind?
wrestle him.
What's it like, Jim, when you've never been passed around before and you're in a championship fight?
Well, you worry about, I mean, what I did there before championship fights, I always went to the gym one day and sparred 15 rounds. Did nothing, put the stuff on, got in the ring, sparred 15 rounds with maybe 3 or 4 different opponents, so you knew you could do it, so it was in your head you could do it. So I'm sure Carl Johanneson has done the same over the 12-round distance.
And is there enough confidence and self-belief left in Ricky Burns? He must have known, realised that if he was in the fight at this point, he would have a real chance. Does he?
Yep, finding the jab now. This is what he needs. Everything from Ricky Burns comes from that jab. Carl Johanneson has taken that jab away from him, but now he's found a bit of space here. Still a bit of spring on the legs. Can't do it in points though, Adam. They would need a couple of knockdowns before they could get this in point. Certainly on my card, which we have to remember. But finding space now to get his punches off, maybe for the first time.
Small bruise under the right eye of Johansson, who has also been floored in America by Koba Gogoladze. So there are leaks in the defence, and people have worried about Johansson's stamina.
And a nice little bit of strength in that burst of punching from Burns. You know, he's still, you'd expect him to be struggling the amount of punches he's taken here, but he still looks fairly fresh considering that he's hurt there.
Has to go down again, second time in the fight, in the 9th round, Ricky Burns. He's up bravely, looks okay, bounces on his feet, but he is being overpowered by Carl Johansson. Body shots, so gritty from Burns.
But there's the mark of a champion, when the other fellow's producing his best work, just put him back in his place again. Oh, this is good stuff from young Ricky Burns, amazing. But full credit to Johansson. Burns getting a bit of confidence, he takes it right out of him again.
Spirit and tenacity aplenty from Ricky Burns, who tries to unload his shots. The intensity in there, Jim, has been pretty astonishing.
It's been non-stop from first bell right up to now. Full credit to both men, but particularly Johansson, he's the one who's got things right.
Getting to the stage when Matthew Macklin finally fell apart against Jamie Moore. That was in the 10th round. You just wonder how these fighters can keep going at this sort of tempo. Terrific conditioning and a credit to their corners.
Well, probably the last thing Ricky Burns needed was that knockdown again. A good body shot again, that one stung.
Right at the end of the 9th round, Burns is hurt by that. Bit by bit.
Breathe deep. Shut the window. Come on.
You can still do it, you hear me? You can still do it. You listen to me.
Listen, concentrate. Listen to what you're told.
You can still do it. He's tiring fast.
Can still do it, says Brad Bannon. Can he though, Jim?
Well, he would have to find some power, but that's the thing. Just when he was enjoying maybe his best spell of the fight, another one of those sickening body shots just took everything away from him again. I'm amazed at the way he comes back off the floor, so it just thumped right in there, just seemed to catch him in the ribs there. And you can't toughen up the ribs, obviously. Up he comes, straight back into business again. Full credit to him, he's acquitting himself well.
Time is out, round 10.
But so far, so good for Carl Johansson. He must have won almost all of these rounds 2 knockdowns in his favour. Ricky Burns surely needs to stop the champion now. He's got 3 rounds to turn this on its head. And he's been intelligent too, Johaneson. He's thought about this in patches. Certainly in the last 3 or 4 rounds, he's held off 2.
Yeah, he's been sensible. Although he must feel he's in a massive points lead, he hasn't completely come off the gas. He hasn't looked to take a breather. Because you don't want to do that too early in the fight either. Give the other guy a little bit of confidence. He's stuck with the job well.
He has bullied Ricky Burns, who may be the stronger man, but is this the stage when the physical strength can come into play? It's a really incredible performance from Ricky Burns, even though he's losing this wide.
Well, this is the space he's found again for that jab, but when this happened in the previous round, he was thumped with that body shot. So can he sustain it a bit longer here? This is good stuff from Burns, but really he has to be looking for a knockout here. All the punches he lands have to count.
The pride in battling for the British Lonsdale belt. Former holders of this title like Pat Cowdell, Floyd Havard, BJ Gallagher, Michael Gomez, who's here tonight, Alex Arthur, who I'm sure is watching it somewhere, will surely be so very proud of the way these two have gone to battle tonight.
Well, this was the championship that champions kept losing in the first defence for a few years, many years ago, but I tell you, Johanesson's going to take a bit of shifting, isn't he?
He's hurt again, Ricky Burns. Johaneson can sense it. That predatory instinct that maybe he got from those American gyms. Right to the body. Burns drops his hands. How much more can he take, Jim?
I mean, that's it again, and again a round where Burns was producing some stuff, looking well, and he finds himself on the floor again, but he was ground down that time. That wasn't one single punch that's done that. This is the case now. You wonder, is there much point continuing?
3 knockdowns, terrific heart from Ricky Burns, but Carl Johanneson at the end of the 10th round. Well, he looks on the brink, and then Burns comes back with a couple himself. Extraordinary.
I mean, that is the mark of a champion again from Johaneson. When the other guy comes up with something, better.
What are the corner going to say?
All over his head, Pat. Let's give yourself a bit of room now. Breathe deep. Slowly. Slowly. Breathe deep. Slowly. Now listen. You're walking back with your chin in the air. There's 2 rounds to go. Have you got it in you? Have you got 6 minutes in you? Now listen, you don't skip away from him. You take a little half a pace with your hands up and your chin down, then you throw again.
He nods his head, but not very convincingly.
He's getting good advice in the corner. The corner realise he's not winning a title tonight, but they want him to go out. Fighters always want to go out, pride that you've managed to complete the 12 rounds. Now, he's not been knocked about the ring. He's been clearly beaten, certainly in my card, but he's not been knocked about. His head's not been... So there's no reason to be pulling him out of this. He's a good boxer, he's got a good defence, so they want him to see this through, but they're not sending him out on any kamikaze mission. They know he's not winning this. Just look after yourself for 6 more minutes. Can you do that we're asking?
Body shots 89 from Carl Johanneson. Obviously saw the way Alex Arthur had hurt Ricky Burns. Targets that. I wonder if the 90th, one more clean one, could finish proceedings. Because Ricky Burns looks almost a spent force. It's been a pleasure, hasn't it, to watch this one?
Yep. I mean, it's been close quarter stuff every round, but not clinching. Hands to the front, both guys punching. But Johaneson just a little bit too strong, too mature, and definitely got the tactics right.
Ricky Burns gained in defeat in his last challenge for the British title, the Commonwealth and European on the line up in Scotland. he will have as well gained in people's minds from this performance. But the intensity from Carl Johanneson has been ferocious.
Yeah, and this is the performance from Carl Johanneson that will maybe give him the belief that he can take things further. That maybe the British title is not the end of the rainbow. He can take things further. Because this has been a tremendous campaign over the 11 rounds we've seen so far.
Body shots from Burns, but that lack of power evident. Johanneson just marches through the world scene, dominated by Marco Antonio Barrera. I mean, that's levels away. The European title's vacant. Carl Johanneson at the moment is cementing his position as British champion. Time running out for Ricky Burns. Is that the second time Howard Foster's had to split them?
Yeah, that must be. It didn't even have to split them. It was a low blow he was complaining about. It wasn't a clinch.
Body shots rain in. Backed in the corner. I mean, he must have trained so hard, Ricky Burns, especially on his abdomen as well.
Yeah, well, we've seen the stats there a few seconds ago. The punishment he's taken to the body, and still look at the strength in the legs.
Oh, look at this, Ricky Burns. Late surge, end of the 11th round. Just can't keep the cluster going.
Yeah, well, again, he's found space for the jab. Well, at least there's his pride. Probably just about nicked that round. Who would have imagined?
Deep breathe.
You know this last round, don't be swinging wild with him. Because you get caught with something stupid.
Get him over in this corner.
You've got one chance in this last round. He's probably going to sling everything out. You don't be up and hold it. Up and hold it. Deep breathe. What's the smearing?
Come on. Come on.
Sorry.
All
You've
three
got to
angles
knock
in
him
there,
out.
talking.
Okay, keep your chin down, and it's non-stop for 3 minutes. Lift them up through the middle, right? Non-stop, chin down, driving backwards.
Come on.
Okay? Right?
Non-stop, Ricky.
3 minutes to go.
Get him over here on the ropes and in the
Brings
corner.
round, shake hands.
Just keep under the long punches off him, Paul. That's not in his chest. For 3 minutes, you can do it. Cover it, don't
Get
take a
him
shot.
over here.
Right, nice and clever, nice and clever.
Come on.
Fascinating insight there into opposite corners. Final round of what's been a wonderful British Super Featherweight title fight. The champion, Carl Johanneson, with 3 knockdowns to his credit. The brave, defiant Ricky Burns. Do we have late drama here, Jim?
Well, Burns hasn't shown the power. Well, there's a beautiful uppercut just as I'm speaking. But Johanneson looks able to take anything that Burns has dished out. So I would be shocked if he found the power to turn this one around in the last round here.
Having sparred with heavier men like the world champion Junior Witter and Andrew Facey, I think Carl Johanneson has just felt he was able to walk through Burns, and that's been the difference.
Well, he started right from the opening bell, and he stuck with the same tactics all the way through. Just did not allow Burns to use what he's good at. I mean, these are kind of tired-looking punches from Johanneson now, but little wonder. He just wants to be a little bit careful now. You know, obviously, when you're tired, the punch resistance is not quite the same as in the earlier parts of the fight, so just be careful here. Don't blow it.
Will have proved something to himself as well to go the full 12 rounds, but there's a minute and a half left, and he's looking tired, Carl Johanneson.
And that was a real pep talk the Engels were giving him between the 11th and 12th round there, so he's obviously complaining that he's feeling the pace here, and we can't be surprised about that.
Exactly, hardly surprising. Leeds fans just holding their breath for this last minute or so. The champion will retain his title if he doesn't get knocked out. Look at this from Burns, trying to engage in toe-to-toe. Dabs his eye though.
He was caught with a left hook, a counter left hook. I wonder if the side of the glove maybe he's just getting into his eye there. But again, just when Burns is producing some good work, looking as though is he getting a little foothold. Again, true championship form. Johansson comes back up.
Deserves to hear the final bell, Ricky Burns, after this effort.
He certainly does, and let's face it too, he's probably produced his best work in the last couple of rounds.
Body shots from Burns. Last hurrah of what's been an epic effort. But Carl Johanneson has produced such a solid performance tonight, and he will be ecstatic when this final bell rings. They embrace and smile. A terrific advert for boxing. A cracking fight for the British Super Featherweight title. And I think everybody knows that Carl Johanneson is still champion.
Yeah, everybody knows. In full credit to Ricky Burns, the character he showed all the way through, the character he showed to keep himself in this in the last couple of rounds. But pretty much a foregone conclusion. But both men can leave the ring proud tonight.
Have a look at that, over 1,300 punches thrown. Accuracy from Johansson, but spirit aplenty.
Yeah, and the crowd loved every second of this. Hardly a clinch all the way through.
From the opening bell though, Jim, Carl Johanneson had his plan and he just maintained it.
Yeah, but from the opening bell, he knew get close, do not give Ricky Burns room to move. They knew what Ricky Burns was good at, didn't allow him to use it, and this was the pattern all the way through. The only questions we were asking after 3 rounds was how long can Carl Johanneson keep this pace going, because it wasn't his normal fight. It's not normally the way he boxes. Usually doesn't waste punches, and this is in the second half of the fight. This is where the strength and the maturity of Johansson really made its presence felt, because he was grinding Burns down to the floor. Beautiful body shot, just again at a point when Burns looked as though he was going to maybe enjoy some success. Finds himself on the floor again. Tremendous performance from both men, and particularly Carl Johanneson.
Huge respect. Let's find out the score. Terrific fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 very good rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards. The scores read as follows. Judge Phil Edwards scores the contest 116 to 110. Victor Loughran scores the contest 118 to 109. And Judge Mickey Van scores the contest 117 to 110. All three in favour of the winner, and still the Super Featherweight champion of Great Britain, Carl Johanneson.
Carl Johanneson retains his title, proves he can go 12 rounds. What an effort from Ricky Burns. Great stuff here in Leeds.
To a very fine opponent indeed, please. Scotland's Ricky Burns.
What a scrap, what a night that was, and what a homecoming for Carl Johanneson, still the British Super Featherweight